We knew going into our election that people demanded solutions toward police reform, police accountability. They also wanted effective policing. And so when we started looking at who, in this case, having Andrew Myberg come up to our office, we said, well, this is going to leave a big gap. And we have to have someone that also knows the city. So we said, well, let's look around first and see, look under this rock, under that rock, see what we could find out, kick the tires a little bit. Then we also said, well, this problem we have confined is in terms of race relations, income inequality, institutional racism, police misconduct, unreasonable force, all these, it's not confined to Seattle. Let's open it up and see who we could find. I fundamentally believe, as mayor, I fundamentally believe we cannot have safety without accountability. The two are different sides of the same coin. We need strong leadership in our Office of Police Accountability, and it's going to be a core component to ensure a trusted, effective system of accountability for our Seattle Police Department. And so when I say that, people are quick to put words in my mouth. Does that mean you were failing before, or other mayors didn't have it right? No, it means that I'm mayor now. That's what it means. It means that I'm going to put my stamp on what we want to do. That's what that means. And I'm going to find someone that understands my mission and perhaps even has my life experiences. I talk about being a person of color here in Seattle, and I got a few years on you on this one, but in the 60s and 70s, I said, I understand effective police officers. I want to have it for everybody. I also understand what it means to sometimes have, I'll say, less than pleasant experiences with the police department. I'll put it that way. As demonstrated by the two leaders before me, and Gregory and Kimberly, we got this one right as well. A little bit about Gino, who recognizes the importance of generating public trust by upholding a culture of accountability within SPD. Thorough analysis, objective reasoning, looking at investigations and how they must be done, a standard of excellence that he lives his life by. Those are kind of words I like to hear when someone describes somebody, and that's exactly what we heard in doing our research on Gino Betts. A little bit about his history. For those that do not know him, he's got a wealth of experience as a career public servant, and during his time at Chicago's Police Accountability Agency. Do they still say Chi-Town? Or is I'm okay, Chi-Town. I don't know, I might be dating myself. During his time doing that work, he participated in a number of high-profile cases, including helping secure accountability and expose instances of corruption and misconduct. Most recently, he served as an assistant state attorney at the Cook County State's Attorney General's State's Attorney's Office in Chicago, with a focus on violent and high-profile felony cases. There, Gino also led the Southside Community Justice Center, where he collaborated with community leaders, law enforcement, and elected officials to problem solve local concerns and reduce area violence. That was the body of work that he was doing, quite honestly, in his resume that a lot of us were attracted to. Out there looking at, I'm not going to denigrate Chicago, Chi-Town, because your mayor, Lori Lightfoot, and I have become friends. But I'd suffice it to say, I love Seattle. I'll just put it that way, okay? But being able to go in some of the roughest areas and to be able to talk about effective policing and police accountability in the same breath, that's why Seattle became attracted to you, and for you to take your beautiful family and to relocate here. And I do apologize publicly. I was introducing Gino at another event, and I said, and he hails from Atlanta. But I was talking about Atlanta. All at my table, I had Atlanta in the brain for some reason, and so I apologize that I had a little fun with the joke. Your decision to come here was not taken lightly. That means you love this kind of work you're doing. And I hope you and your wife and your beautiful child are falling in love with Seattle. It's a great place to raise a child. I've raised 3 of them here. The word on the street is that Gino holds a commitment to fairness and justice. He operates with high integrity and a commitment to the public good. He has a belief in continuous learning and improvement. He takes feedback extremely well. He has proven experience in driving real progress. Not just the talk, but the walk. He cares deeply about earning public trust in our public safety systems, and he intends to operate with transparency and be visible in the communities. That becomes critically important. You can't just do your job, of course, in an office. Again, he believes in what I said earlier. We cannot have safety without accountability. And while he's been here in Seattle, you are already being well received by your tenacity in this work, so we want to thank you for that. So, you'll hear from Gino in a minute. And by the way, it's a good time to have that name Gino too. I got to say that. You guys get that joke? All right. Okay, right. But his middle name is Russell Wilson. Did you get? No, I'm just kidding. That's not us. No. Okay, so once again, Elizabeth will conduct the oath of office, and the ceremonial pin will be affixed by Gino's wife, Jessica Joan Lane, if I'm saying it right, Jessica Joan Lane. And again, I know his decision to come here was not made alone. If you're anything like my wife, it was not made alone. So thank you for taking this journey with him. Thank you very much. Let's do the oath of office.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Gino Betts,
I, Gino Betts,
swear or affirm
swear and affirm
that I possess
all of the qualifications
prescribed in the Seattle City Charter
prescribed in the Seattle City Charter
and the Seattle Municipal Code
and the Seattle Municipal Code
for the position of
the Director of
the Seattle Office of Police Accountability, that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Washington, and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Seattle, and that I will faithfully conduct myself as the Director of the Seattle Office of Police Accountability. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Oh, let's sign this really quick. Got there.
Got you. Thank you.
This right here. Got it.
Got it.
Take a picture.
I'm assuming all of that oohing and ahhing was for me, not my son. Right? So I have a list of thank yous to start with. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for your appointment. Thank you for your confidence. Thank you, Senior Deputy Mayor Harrell, for your guidance and support throughout this entire process. Thank you, council members, for your consideration and confirmation, and taking time to meet with me one-on-one prior to the hearing. Thank you, Chair Herbold, for your leadership and your insights. I also want to acknowledge the human resources team that led the national search for this position, particularly Aisha Foster, Pam Inch, Ernest Stevens, and Melissa Reed. Last but absolutely not least, I want to thank my beautiful wife, Jessica, and my son, Gino. Both are here with me today. My parents and my sister, my tribe back in Chicago, who supports every decision I make, even when I decide to move 1,700 miles away for this great, great opportunity. So I've spent the first few weeks in office meeting with police accountability partners, community leaders, and other stakeholders. And I'm getting the same question over and over again. Why in the world would you want to lead a police accountability office? Why? There's so much scrutiny coming from every direction. It's a thankless job. If you sustain findings, then the police unions won't like you. If you don't sustain cases, then the public may be upset with you. But here's what I know. Trying to please everyone is a guaranteed recipe for failure. So that's not the goal. What is the goal is to increase public confidence in the police oversight system. Actually, let me repeat that goal. Let me restate it. The actual goal is to increase public and police confidence in the police oversight system. We got to have buy-in from everyone. It's what the mayor calls One Seattle. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're working towards. How do we do that? We do it with timely, thorough, and fair investigations. We do it with meaningful disciplinary and policy reform recommendations. We do it by valuing the perspectives and the insights of the most impacted communities, often unheard in Seattle. Another question I get, why Seattle? You're from Chi-Town, right? Seattle is a different vibe. On the surface, I would agree with you, but Chicago and Seattle, they're both hardworking cities. They both are driven by great people who care deeply about meaningful progress, transparency, and fairness. There's a palpable energy here in Seattle. I hear it and I feel it when I hear the mayor speak. I see it when I see mass public demonstrations, engagements, the demands for reform. I also felt it when I recently met a group of new police recruits who told me that they joined the department at arguably the most difficult and unpopular time in history because they were committed to being the change that they wanted to see. That energy is also evidenced by SPD's progress with trainings, technology, and policy reforms. Of course, there is more work to do. Of course there is. But I'm also convinced that there is no better moment or no better place to do that work. Frederick Douglass said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. So we welcome the struggle. We're going to struggle to own past failures. We'll struggle through frustrations and tough conversations, and we'll struggle through tough times. But I'm familiar with struggle. I grew up on the west side of Chicago. I know what struggle looks like, but I also know what's on the other side of struggle, and that's light. That's healing. That's reconciliation. That's where One Seattle lives, and I'm humbled and honored to be a part of it. Thank you all so much.